talk about the other story going on, which has to do with the state Republican Party. We had the chair of the Republican Party on during the 2 o'clock hour, had a little bit of conversation with him. What's your take on this idea of changing the rules of Republican spending so that the Republican Party in the state can raise money and spend money for primary purposes, which is currently not allowed, as I understand it?
Well, I think it's a mistake, and I didn't hear Ben Proto when he was on earlier this afternoon. I've talked to some people on the State Central Committee, and I have an idea of what the reasoning behind it is, and it doesn't seem to me like terribly strong reasoning. In fact, some of the people that have defended this to me basically have said, Joe, don't worry about it because, first of all, no one's going to get the 2/3 vote on the State Central Committee to make this into place, and second, we don't have any money anyways. But that seems like a very poor reason to make a change in the law.
Yes,
to say,
let us make this change because we won't be able to use it.
Because we won't be able to use it anyways. Exactly, and it's a funny thing to me that we've got people in the party, mostly to the left of me, who are pushing for letting unaffiliated voters vote in Republican primaries. And the argument for that is we can get them invested. They can feel like they have a role in selecting the candidates and so forth. And at the same time that this is being pushed as an idea of saying, let's activate people by making
create more democracy here open, so we can have a more organic experience and get more voters. They're arguing the opposite here. Let's close more people out through manipulative rule changes and fundraising.
Yeah, let's make sure that the people on the inside of the party maintain control on it. I'm not against any kind of system. I actually kind of like the old convention system where basically you had to have support at the convention or you couldn't get to a primary at all.
Why do you like that? It's so anti-democratic and so insiderish. It's like you have got to be part of the club or you don't get to join the club. Well,
you've got to be part of the club or you don't get to direct the club. And the argument would be if you want to have a voice in who the Republicans nominate or who the Democrats nominate, then join a party and get involved. It's not that difficult to end up being a delegate. And I think that going around that structure makes it diminishes the incentive for people to become active within a party.
But isn't there something weird about the way the party exists in this hidden form of these little ants scurrying around, invisibly manipulating events? And I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. It's wonderful what they do. But structurally, it's opaque at best. And most people don't know it exists and don't know what the parties are for and can't follow any of this. So it creates a non-democratic thing going on right off the bat, which isn't necessarily the best. So why do you favor that?
Well, I say, first of all, it's not really hidden. One might say that people don't pay attention to it, so they don't see it. But everything that the party does is, the rules are there. It's all a matter of record. Everyone knows how everyone votes and so forth. In that sense, it's like any other organization. I don't know how the Elks are run, but if I were an elk, I'd be able to figure out, right?
But elks don't decide how much taxes we're going to pay.
Well, neither does the Republican Party directly when you come right down to it.
Not directly, but if it's controlling who gets their endorsement and that endorsement leads to all kinds of prestige and a higher rate of winning elections, then it plays a critical role in public events. It's just interesting. I'm not saying you're wrong because I've never been inside those chambers where decisions are made. It just strikes me that, and I am on both sides of it. I want certain ideological things to be able to occur, and this turning parties into public things instead of private things causes them to go in a different direction and to lose the tethering to certain principles.
Yes, and that's always been a reason that I haven't liked the idea of open primaries, for instance, because you figure that people who are willing to commit to the Republican Party are likely to be more conservative than the unaffiliated voters, and people that commit to the Democratic Party more liberal. So the parties have a stronger identity. And the insiders in the party, I think, know the people that they're actually making decisions about. The delegates have a chance to talk one-on-one with candidates, or if they want to. I think most of them do at some point during a campaign. They've got a knowledge of these people that the average voter doesn't, who's really just dependent on, what did they see on TV, or do they like the looks of the guy or the last mailing they got. I think that at a national level, those smoke-filled rooms frequently came up with pretty good presidents in the past. And I don't know that the open primary system that we've had
has done a better job.
Has done a better job than what would have happened with party insiders.
Let me steer you back to Ben Proto, the chairman of the state GOP, who was on earlier. He basically did confess what I suspected, and that is that they want the ability to, the party wants the ability to help get certain people in big races the nomination. At least I think that's what he was confessing. And I don't know that that's necessarily a bad idea.
Well, I guess I'd say this. If you've got the rules, we got off on a tangent about the conventions, but even in the convention system, you went through the convention and you went through the primary, and not until the primary was over could the party put its thumb on the scale. And I think that's an important thing. I think it prevents hard feelings within the party, which would take place otherwise, and divisiveness. I think it gives the voters more of a sense that they are indeed making the decision that falls to their hands. And I don't see any example. If I said, show me where this would have helped, I don't know what they'd come up with. I mean, if they said, oh, gee, we could have given Themis Claridis $5,000, that wasn't going to make a difference in the primary. And I don't think they could have gotten a 2/3 vote for Themis over Leora and Peter Lumage in that primary.
No, but I do think that's the kind of thing they're thinking about. But they're also thinking about multiple governors races where self-funders have now control the nomination process, it seems. And I think they want to be able to steal that back with rule changes. Well,
let's point out that the last nominee who then lost the primary, Mark Boughton, is now the tax collector for the Democratic governor of Connecticut. So I don't know that you go back and say, gee, I wish we had given Mark Boughton some money so he could have beaten Bob Stefanowski.
And that's the scary part. You know what? I'll bet they would take that deal. And that's where it cross purposes. There are two different goals here, and they want to win. And we want to win on principles, I think, and be able to push those principles. That's right.
We want to win with somebody that's worth winning with.
Joe Markley, good to talk with you, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure.